home, I mean, these exercises or anything like that. All right, so if not, then I would like to go over one more thing, um, the framework for the page objects. Okay, this should be the last slide, last PowerPoint you guys should have. Now, you guys already know how to write the test, right? Now, what the framework does, it adds on to, it simplifies a little bit more things, okay, for writing the test. When you talk about the page object framework, working with the Cucumber and all those things we have seen, right? It fits into that, okay? It's fits nicely, and it takes away some of the complexity that you guys are facing right now. You guys actually did all the hard work, right? Now you're gonna do just some simpler work, okay? Uh, so that's what the framework does. It puts everything nicely organized and all those things. So let's see what it is, and hopefully it will be a little bit more clear for not confusing to you. Okay, because you are already doing the hard work, and now you say, "Oh, is it how it works?" Okay, let's see. By the way, you cannot go to this route unless you know other fundamentals. Okay, so all right, so page object, right? So there is a jam called page object, um, and it is used by some of the companies, not all the companies, but some of the companies are using this framework. It works with both Water and Selenium. So driver doesn't change. I mean, whatever driver you want to use, you can use it. But it provides the extra abstraction layer, right? So the good thing about this frameworks is that it comes with a lot of built-in functionality. Okay, so it takes care of all these different classes management, and it simplifies. I'll show you. I mean, how simplified that was. Okay, so that's the advantage of that. But I don't think we install this in the first session. Okay, the first thing we have to do is gem install page object, and it will install actually this framework. Okay, so that's one thing when we actually go through the exercise. Right? Before you do that, you have to install the page object framework. Okay. It's also a pattern, right? So every page has a separate page class. We already are doing it, right? Because you guys are creating all the classes separately. But there is a nice way you can organize the page elements and everything in a central place. So I'll show you that shortly, where the things differ from what you are doing. And within the step definition, there is some change. So how do you call the class? That's different. Okay, and how do you open the URL, go to the URL? That part is different. Okay, so let's take a look at it quickly. Now, first of all, you need to do some setup. Okay, before you use the framework properly. So all those things that you are putting in the individual classes like require water and all those things, you have to add this in the env.rb. So this file, as soon as you put that in, it's available everywhere in the project. So you have this line, require water or whatever framework you are using. You have to require page object. Okay. So this is our framework. And then this is the import. So what you need to do is set the context for all the objects for the using the page object. So you put this line world page object and page factory. So it will manage all the classes for you. Okay, so you don't have to create anything like .news anymore. As soon as you specify, all .news and all those things will be gone for you. So it will automatically create it for you. As soon as you refer to the class name, it will automatically create the class for you. Okay. Second thing, the base URL, right? So you can set up. I think we are already doing that base URL, kind of like our from URL. But here you can set up the base URL like this, whatever the URL, and then everything else remains same. Okay, but these are the things you have to add in env.rb. Second thing as part of the setup, okay, the hooks.rb, right? This is where we'll be creating this browser, basically the driver instance. So I'm creating the browser in the hooks.rb. So make sure you have hooks.rb, and we'll put that in this line, and then After do, close the browser. Have you guys noticed like a bunch of windows being opened and closed, right? So when you do this, when you use the framework, that thing will go away. Okay, all those bunch of windows, it will be single window being opened. Because you are using the framework, it will automatically manage all those things for you. Okay, so it will be a single window if you have these things set up.
So that means new tab will open.
New tab?
Yeah.
No, it will open a brand new browser window and run all your tests.
Oh, in the
It
same.
will automatically close it after your tests are done, and so it will do the browser window management for you. Okay, so you will see only single window, not multiple windows being opened and closed. It's pretty annoying, right? Multiple windows, you don't know where things are happening, right? So it will take care of that. Now this one, right? Before do and after do. Remember, when do they apply? When does it apply? For every test, every scenario, this thing will happen. Okay. So every scenario, it will do close, open, do driver, and everything. It will take care of it. All right. So how do we use this, right? Framework. Um, so what we're gonna do is it's a similar, right? Nothing changes. You still need to have class, but what you're gonna write in the class will change a little bit. Okay, the step definition will change a little bit. Acceptance test doesn't change. Okay, acceptance test remains same. Your capture groups, everything remains same. But the class, the way you create the object and call the methods, that will change. Okay, that's the only part. So let's take a look at it. So I have like Athlon login scenario, right? Example. So here I have a class called you can name it as login, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, or whatever calculator or whatever you have. Again, if you are using inheritance, that one still remains same, right? Inheritance and everything. But this is an example. So first thing what you need to do is include page object. Okay, it's a module. Remember, page object is a module. It has a bunch of libraries, right? So I'm including page object in my base class or load calculator or big search class, right? I need to do that. Then second line would be page URL. Okay. So what this line does is it will tell me what page to go. Okay, it will automatically take care of going to the page actually. So as soon as, by the way, you guys remember what this base URL is? Rflow, right? That's what we define in envrb, right? So it will automatically open and go to the site with using this line. All right, so you don't have to call that. The third thing, these are all the fields that you are interacting with on the page. You define at the top. Okay, so here I have text field, username, right? So and I have forget about class. If I have ID, right? If I'm using ID, I'm gonna use whatever ID. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna define everything at the top. So this is home page, right? So I have username, password, and login, right? 3 items on my home page. So I'm gonna have class called login input, or you can just put ID and whatever the ID of that username. Okay. Now what these fields are, these three, 1, 2, and 3, these are internal basically. Okay. So these are you can give this particular ID some internal name called password or password text or something like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be basically whatever is on the page. Now, why you need to give internal name? Because you can refer anywhere in the code later on. Okay, so let's take a look at it. If I'm logging with username password, right, this method. So what I'm doing is self.username is equal username. So it will refer where as soon as I say that self.username, it will go and have a reference to this field here, and then set the value. So all the sets and dot clicks are gone.
So this is not what and not Selenium. It's a common thing.
This is a common. Yeah, doesn't matter whether you are using Selenium or not. Doesn't matter. Okay. So because we are setting up here, right? If you use Selenium, we are setting up here, right? Selenium browser, whatever it is, right? Instead of water, it will be Selenium browser. Okay? So it will work with both Selenium or water.
So that cucumber, required cucumber means it takes the temperature code, right? It from the future code.
Required cucumber.
The,
Oh yeah, this one we don't have to. I mean, this one is kind of like a newer version. They already automatically include cucumber. But But if you can include Cucumber library as well if you want. But in the previously it wasn't there, so we have to reference anyway. Okay. But these two things, water and page object, are the ones that you have to include in the file. And I will walk through one example here so that you guys know.
How do the page URL automatically goes into the page URL?
So let me hold on to that, right? And so here you are defining it, right? This is a class, this is a template, right? Definition. You haven't called any method yet, right? So I'll show you how do you call the method.
And also I have a question on how do you say it's text underscore field length, because I know
This
it's
is same as a water browser. So if you say if you are using the Selenium, you use field element, find element.
Right. But it's a common thing, right?
No, common means this part still remains different.
So if I'm going to use Selenium, then it's going to be find underscore element.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
So page URL is a keyword or not?
Page URL is a keyword. It's part of the framework. So any page you have this page URL, that's what it will do.
So if you have other modules, does the page update module have to be on the top, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter where you put it, but as long as it's in this section here, you're fine. Yeah. Yeah. Order doesn't matter.
Okay.
This field can be next to it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? But here, the change is here, right? How do you assign the field? How do you set the values? Now I don't have to do all this dot set clicks and all those things, right? I just say self dot username equals whatever the value coming in. Self dot password would be set password and self dot login. Now, when I say self dot login, right? So it refers back here. Okay. So if I change this, right? If I will change it, I can. If I want to make it clear, I can say text, right? I can put text in the name, and this might be the button, right? Okay, something like that. So it makes it clear, and then I can do self dot username text, right? Button, and I can say dot click as well. Okay, but because it's a button, there is a default like method automatically, so it will automatically click on. Okay, unless there is you want to do something else with the button, like enable or disable, then you can put all those things. Right? But so this is the name, right, of the and gets handled to this basically ID control and set the value. That's the line. Right? Now this is more like object-oriented concept, right? If you are using any Java programming or C# or anything, this is how you basically set the value. Dot something equals dot that. So standardized way. And finally, right, here I'm verifying something, right? So again, that part doesn't change. Self.text.include whatever value you are writing.
So in all the programming, I mean, say, all the files, instead of creating each and every object, we can use them.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that simplifies it, right? Because you are defining everything at the top and giving some name, basically, and then you are referencing those. All right, so now how do we call this, right? How do we use this class once we build this class? Okay, so there are two methods available. When you want to actually go to the page, you can use the syntax something like this. Okay, visit whatever your class is, right? In our case, it's a base page class right here. So I can do visit base page, and then so when I do that, right? By the way, there are two syntax. Okay, this is how you can do visit base page, and it will automatically read the page URL and go to the site. And if you want to do while you are on the page, right? You want to do certain method calls like login, then you have to do something like that, or you can do on base page dot login. Okay, then I'll show you. I mean, I'll walk you through one example. I like the simpler syntax, something like this: on base page dot include text. This is how I'm used to calling the method. Okay, so if I want to call the same method, right? Here I can do visit base page, right? That's the first line. Second line would be on base page dot login with whatever. Okay. So you can call it both ways. So that's the part this is the step definition, right? So this is where it will change, this thing.
So there is no object creation here.
There is no object creation. It will be taken care of by the framework. Okay. There is no object. It will automatically create the object for you and manage it. So those are the only two methods. Okay, those are the only two things you can do. Whether you have to go to the page, and once you are on the page, what you want to do, call the appropriate methods and be done with it. And you always call visit if you want to go to the page, and then call all the different methods basically to do the work for you. Let's see here. All right, so this is the base concept, right? So let's see how we can work with that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, let me take this example here, okay, and I'm going to create a brand new project. Hold on a second. Let me just finish up, and I'll basically have that for you guys. All right, so I'm naming it Bing Search Page Object, basically project, and opening a new window just to make sure. So this is empty project, right? At this point, the first thing I need to do is feature folder. Okay. Then I will have a new folder under features, which is called support. Okay. All right. So let's go and add a feature file. New file called Bing Search .feature. This part doesn't change. Okay. Well, you still have to got to do whatever you need to do. All right. And then I'm going to go quickly create step definitions here. My steps. I'll leave it there. Just go do that. Steps. Third one. And let's see. Okay. Let's get rid of the pending. And what I'm gonna do is create a capture group, right? Because I want to have this thing in the arguments coming in. And this one. Okay. So I need to go and create argument, right? So these two arguments for capture group. Okay, so at this point, I'm set up with the first one. Now the next step, right? Go and set up the class, basically. So here I can do new file, and I'll call a Bing search.rb. Okay. So this is where my class file gonna be, and I can do class Bing search. Okay. All right. Now, before I do that, right, go too deep in the class, I need to set up the framework. Okay. So this is where I can go and add the envrb in the support folder. Let's go and do envrb. And what's the second file I need to do? Hooks, right? So I need to have the hooks.rb. Okay. And hooks.rb has two things: before do and after do. Okay. Okay. So in the before do, I have to create the browser basically, right? That part. So you can refer back to the slide here, right? What you have, what I gave you in the slide, what you need to set up. Let's go and do that here, this part, right? So I have luxury of copying and pasting, but you have to type that in, right? And then browser.close. Okay. So this part is set up. Let's go to envrb. So I'm going to use water and require page object. Okay. Now if you don't have it, right, set up, you can go to the cmd command and say gem install page object. Okay. I did do something. Come on. It's going to install some wrong thing. All right, good. It didn't find anything, so that's good. Okay, so now I have correct typo. gem install. Oh, my computer mode is set to somehow it's changed. Set to airplane mode. That's why. Okay. Make sure you are connected to the internet, right? Now I can go and execute it. So it's successfully installed, and whatever version it will fetch it and install. Okay, so at this point I'm done with that. Now I'm ready to install the third thing, configure third item. This is important, right? World page object, page factory. So here, page object. So you will start seeing that all those things, okay? Page factory and everything. Okay. So now this part is set up, and I can do base URL. Okay. So now my base URL is set up and everything. Now here we are not using rflown, right? So we are using bing.com, right? Because this is a Bing example. Okay. So I'm using the Bing. So that's my base URL. So that's the second part. Now let's go to the class actually and start doing the work here. So in the class part, first thing I need to do is include page object, right? Here I can do include page object at the top, so it will bring in all the frameworks thing. Okay. The second thing I can do page underscore URL. As soon as I do that, right, page object, I have page URL method available here. Okay, so I just need to put it and say refer to the base underscore URL. Okay.
Basically, that's that go to.
Yeah, it is for when you do visit, right? It will automatically call the appropriate method and go to the page. That's all it does. All right, then I will have a bunch of text field. I will have second text field, and I have button, right? Okay, so I have three things here. So let's go and fetch. Now, what the name you wanna give? Let's say this is a search box, right? I can give anything. Okay, first thing is fine. Search box, and then I will. How do I get that? Use the ID. Okay, and let's find whatever is there, right? So let me copy paste here all three, and actually I have only two, right? Search box and those things. So I don't have three. And search button. All right, so I can go to the actually here, bing.com, and let's get the IDs. Come on. So this is class. Where is our ID? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I'll just copy and paste the ID over. Okay. Same thing I will do with this button. And button go. Okay. Now let's go and hook up the methods here. So I have these things, and so what are the methods I'm gonna need? This one is taken care of, right? Given is taken care of because I'm gonna do the visit one. Now this is where I need to do data entry, search, and then this one, right? So three more methods. So I can define enter search criteria. Okay. What is my second method? Def search, and then finally def verify result, right? And here I can say result, and I can say criteria. Okay. And let's see what we can do here. So here again, how do I reference? How do I do the search, right? So I can do self dot search box equals criteria, right? This is what is coming in. Self dot search button, and I can say click here, okay, as well. But since it's a button, so it will automatically click on it. if I don't specify. Okay, and finally, and so here I can do self what is that, text dot include, and I can say result, right? So it will, what it will do is it will check for this result and see if it has anything on the page, and it will return true or false. Okay, so that's kind of like defining the class here. Okay, now I need to go and hook up this class methods with my step definition. So I come here. Now again, those complexity is gone, right? So here I can say visit and whatever your class name is. Okay, so here Bing search. So that's all I need to do. Visit Bing search, and at this point I'm done. That's what it will do. It will open the page and browser. Now I need to, once I'm on the page, I need to do perform action, right? So that's where on Bing search dot whatever method you want to call, and so here enter search criteria. Okay, and then on Bing search dot search, and again this thing remains same. Fail unless on Bing search dot what is that? Yeah, verify. Yeah, verify result, right? And argument. Okay. So let's just make sure everything looks correct here. Make sure your method names are matched up. There's definition search and everything, and see if I can run it. If you get an error, right, you always have to see what the error is and work through that. Okay, so let's see if it goes to the page. Yeah, if it's going to the page, typing in and looking for it, and see if it passes or fails. Yep, so looks like my scenario passed, and no, basically without any errors, right? So again, this part doesn't change, right? The only thing changes in the class file. How do you create it? How do you call it from the step definition? Those two things. All right. Any other question? Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, let's work through this example. We'll convert, if you have time, we'll convert the second one to this page object, right? So you create a brand new project. Okay. For this one, create a brand new project. Start plugging in the feature file one at a time. Okay. Do the first feature file Bing search, right? And then do the second one, whatever the loan calculator one, and convert that. All right. And let me